So there's really only one way I can say that this film goes, and that's Puss is a fucking stud. Right as he's talking about all the different names that he's known for and heard throughout the legends, he calls himself a furry lover. Like in the first I don't know, 30 seconds of this film, he calls himself a goddamn furry lover. So that was enough to settle me down. Like I was going to watch this entire fucking movie. This movie is top tier gold for me. The opening scene starts with our hero grabbing his boots and his belt. And as a shadow passes over a female cat laying in her bed, he fucking casually just forgets the name. He's like, "Oh, I will remember you, Marie." And it's like, actually, my name was Rebecca. And it's like, oh, god fucking damn it. So, he's still cool with the cat and all, but now he's got to deal with the owner waking up and chasing him out of his house and trying to collect the bounty that's on his head. Because apparently he's in a town where he's got a big old bounty on his head, like I just said. And basically, you get to see him running back to his hometown, which we don't know is his hometown yet, but it's still his hometown, so remember that this is his hometown. And whenever he gets to his hometown, he heads to his bar. Everybody's celebrating. There's fireworks going off. It's some kind of festival. I don't remember what exactly was happening. But as soon as this man enters the bar, prepare for as many cat jokes and short jokes that you have ever seen in the next 5 minutes, because they manage to squeeze like as many as they can in there. So obviously, since he's a cat, he's not going into a bar to order some fucking liquor. It's still kind of a kid's film. Like there's a lot of scenes that come up later where it's like, holy shit, how is this a kid's film? But he gets himself some shots of milk. But once we finally get to the part where Puss is sitting down in the bar and he's just enjoying himself and he's talking to all the criminals in said bar, a sneaky little fellow tries to sneak up on our cat and murder the fuck out of him for that bounty. Well, guess what? You do not make the cat angry, alright? And he proves this very fucking quickly. He chops this dude up and puts a sword up to his nose. He's like, "I will hurt you if you make the cat angry." So, everybody proceeds to not make the cat angry, and they try and help Mr. Cat. So when Mr. Cat's asking, he's like, he is literally the epitome of the professionals have standards meme. Like, he completely is like, "I do not rob orphans. I do not hurt, what was it, nuns or priests or something like that. I do not rob from churches." And basically, these guys are giving him, like, orphans, churches, and things like that. He's turned them all down, and then out of nowhere, they're like, "Well, Jack and Jill are here." And, I mean, Jack and Jill, they're weird, because for some reason, I've always thought, like, the Jack and Jill thing was, like, siblings, but apparently in this they're like lovers, so it's a little confusing, not gonna lie, just because I wasn't caught up to date. I don't know how the actual like fairy tale goes. As far as I remember, they were siblings. But yeah, they're talking about these magic beans, and this guy's got like tattoos of the story like all over his body for like no reason. He's just a book for this legend, and that's just how his body will display that for all time. Like, the amount of adult jokes in this film are kind of ridiculous, because on said guy's body, they're talking about, "Oh, the beans, and the big old magical goose who lays her golden eggs," and proceeds to derobe himself, my dude. Like, takes off his belt kind of shit, and it's just like, what the fuck? Golden eggs? Luckily, Puss... Wow, I do not know how to say this guy's name very, like, conveniently off the top of my tongue. Luckily, Puss puts the fucking into that real fast, tells him to stop that shit right up. And that, that's pretty much it. But now we get to go and see the real Jack and Jill. Like, we get to see him instead of just hearing about them all the time, because, Puss, he's left the bar, and he's going to look to steal himself some magic beans. Now, like, the first time they show Jack and Jill is kind of absolutely ridiculous, because, just showing up, they're in this fucking, like, hotel inn, and they're like, "Hey, we want a room. We don't have any rooms available. I'm very sorry about that," the guy says, and Jill proceeds to take out a gun and light the fucking gun off of Jack's face, hand the gun to Jack, and Jack just shoots the fucker. Just shoots him dead, and he falls right off. Like, you get to see the body fall into the ground. Like, he just actually kills a person in this film. And I'm pretty sure they murder multiple times in this film, so this probably won't be the first murder I talk about. But now they have a room and they scare the guy shitless over some baby muffins that they don't have because they don't have baby muffins. And if they don't get them baby muffins, Jack and Jill is going to murder them. So basically, like, that happens. And I had to process that for a little bit before we just went through the rest of the film. It was like, holy shit, there was just a casual murder in this kid's film I forgot about completely. But anyways, after that, it cuts to Jack and Jill in their room, and of course, they're weirdly talking about how they want to have kids. But like I said, that always confused me because I was pretty sure the fairy tale versions were siblings. But that's just me. So while they're talking about this, you see our hero, the stealth man himself, the thief, and I'm pretty sure this happens before Shrek because he like learns about his power of using the baby eyes and stuff, or not baby eyes. He uses cat eyes. They're little fucking like the cat eyes that he uses to hypnotize people in the film. Fucking he like learns that he has that here because you get to see the backstory of them and all that. But while he's attempting to steal the beans, he sees another cat thief. So there's just casually another cat here. And obviously there's going to be a bunch of cats, but like another cat that's a thief and walks bipedally and like uses weapons and wears clothes. It's kind of weird. So they proceed to get caught by Jack and Jill, and obviously they're being shot at. They have guns. They're fucking casually murdering people for rooms, and they're running away in a big cool scene where they're like running around and like jumping across the rooftops, and there's guns firing off at them and fireworks going off in the background, and just a lot of slapstick humor out of nowhere where like he gets smacked in the balls randomly or some shit like that. Just weird funny stuff, I guess, out of nowhere. It was funny to me out of nowhere just because they're running across rooftops. I was looking at the animation. I was like, wow, this looks really cool. I don't remember it looking this cool. And, casually runs into a flagpole, gets hit in dick or some shit like that. And basically, like, they chase you don't know that yet. They chase the thief cat all the way across the roof, and they barely make it away. They get into this little hole, and it slides all the way down. And there's a secret cat bar where they serve milk only. And, so they kind of set this guy up a little bit. You feel it because the thief already knows everything here. He, like, already knows what's going on. So, basically, Puss is ready to throw hands. He's ready to beat the fuck out of this guy. He's like, you cost me a chance to get magic beans, you goddamn fucking idiot. I'm gonna beat the shit out of you. Well, guess what? You can't beat people up here. It's dance night. You can only have a dance off. So a really weird and just completely elaborate dancing goes on where they're like going like no like gravity exists, like dancing off via each other's feet in the middle of the air kind of shit, like crazy shit going on. But then the black cat somehow manages to get a little bit of milk on Puss's boot. And oh boy, he is done now. You messed up his boots. You got him dirty. So he's done with this stupid dance fight shit. He's ready to throw down. So they start, sword fighting. They start going downtown, start having a little combat going off. And Puss loses his sword. And I'm pretty sure he's about to get his ass kicked. But then he just grabs a random guitar and smacks it over the guy's head. And, the guy's holding a sword and he acts like getting hit with a guitar is the craziest thing in the world. But, of course, after this, it's like, oh no, you find out Mr. Thief Guy is really Mr. Cat Thief Girl? Yes, it is Kitty Softpaws, apparently, one of the best thieves around. And this proceeds to go into, like, you hit me with the guitar, really, kind of thing, and you just kind of casually forget that they were after magic beans and that they're in a cat bar and all this other crazy shit. But they go into the back room to chase for each other and talk to each other a little bit. And he smells something fishy. Well, not actually. He doesn't smell something fishy. He smells an egg. A stinky, spoiled, rotten egg. And, basically you see Humpty Dumpty, a god-awful abomination in this entire film. He just looks horrifying. He is just terrifying to look at. It is ridiculous. His face design is like creepy as all hell. Like he's just a round fucker with round legs. Like he's got these like fucking toothpick legs and like feet, and then he's got these really long langly arms, and then fucking like he just balls himself up and rolls around. Like it's just absolutely ridiculous. I cannot believe that. It's just so hard to believe how they managed to make him look so creepy and just proceed to put it in the film. They make the humans look creepy though too. Like I can understand it a little bit. Obviously, if you're gonna make an egg human looking thing, it's gonna look creepy if your humans look creepy. But we're getting off track. You find out that Humpty Alexander Dumpty and Mr. Puss in Boots were both brothers at an orphanage, and basically Puss in Boots, he when he got there, he ended up just having his beans stolen by Humpty just randomly. Like Humpty's like, "Give me them fucking beans!" Like yoink, yep, and just took them right off the fucking tray, and fucking I don't know, like a lot of shit happens. Mr. Bully shows up, and out of nowhere, Puss is just a fucking badass, even though he's only like 2 years old, and like picks up a spoon like a goddamn sword and smacks Mr. fucking Blue Boy. I don't remember what the fucking fairy tale name is. It's just little Billy Boy Blue, and he just fucking makes him black and blue because he beats the goddamn shit out of him and scares his goddamn lackeys away because, Puss is a goddamn badass, and you see that every time you fucking, like, watch this film. If you watch this film and don't think Puss is a badass, well then, you're probably over the age of 20 or some shit, but still. And before I go ahead and get too ahead of myself, you basically find out that they have bad blood from the past, and Puss, he doesn't want anything to do with Mr. Humpty. Mr. Humpty's a fucking asshole to Mr. Puss. I don't know why I'm saying Mr. in front of their names, just go with it. So Puss is obviously like, well, fuck this shit, I'm out. Obviously, I was set up, I don't want to be a part of this at all. And, Miss Kitty Softpaws is like, I'm really good at seducing cats, so I'll just go and, like, get him over, and I'll get him on our side. It's good, mister. Just sit there, don't worry about it. So you proceed to see, like, cats, like, proceed to seduce each other for some random reason. And then Puss is like, still, hey, fuck you, bitch, you work for the egg, I ain't gonna help you. So, he just starts going off. And she obviously asks, hey, why do you guys even have all this bad blood? And for some reason, she's not prepared for a long backstory of how they have this bad blood. And she's like, wait, no, I really don't want to hear a backstory. Wait. And Puss just goes right ahead. And he starts on this big, long backstory. And you get to hear a little bit about what I already said, about the bullies and the smacking and the black and blue. But basically, it gets to the point where they're like teenagers now. They're getting caught by the police. They're like stealing shit all the time. They made this blood pact before so that they could like go and find the magic beans. They're both set on finding magic beans because they've been trying their whole childhood, and all they want to do is just bring riches to San Ricardo and be great and forever and look down on the cities from the clouds and all that shit. So they're just trying to have a good time as little kids, but Puss starts to realize that those dreams are harder and harder to come by, so he starts doing what he can to be a good guy. And this all just happens out of nowhere because Puss just happens to be chilling on a roof, and Humpty fucks up and throws a goddamn rock, and they're being troublemakers and all that shit. Puss is trying to like get on the straight and narrow because he's disappointing his mother all the time, and he feels real fucking bad about it. And Humpty throws a rock because he's like, do that, it'll make you feel better. And the fucking rock flies, and it opens a bull cage out of fucking nowhere. Like, out of everything this guy could have hit with a rock, like, I would have expected it to hit a person in the head before he opened up a bull cage, and the bull was what was gonna kill somebody. But, like, okay. So, the bull starts going after this old lady who just, I guess, doesn't hear it or see it. She's an old lady. And you just see Mr. Puss in Boots fly off the roof. Like, he looks like a flying chipmunk when he's going after this bull. Like, he's just like, wah! And he RKO's the fuck out of that bull. Like, just throws it all on the fucking ground. And there's, like, this big scene where everybody's like, you saved the... I don't remember the name. Like, I can't say that very well. But basically, he saved the big general dude that's been getting on them a lot and throwing them in, like, temporary jail, I guess, and getting mad at them. He saved his mother. So he gets given the boots, and this is where you get the solid, like, title. Like, this is Puss in Boots now. Like, he's got his boots. And, he does make the comment he was very confused about why they were just casually cat boots, but, whatever. They were just made for him. That's just how it is. So he has the boots. They stand for a symbol of honor and justice, is what his mother tells him. So Mr. Puss in Boots proceeds to start being a super good hero and helping everybody around town all the time and doing the best he can. And Humpty starts to go down a more troubled path and getting sadder and darker and darker. And he's sitting in jail and he's getting bailed out one day because Puss is just like, "Hey, this is my brother, bro. Can I get him out of jail?" And the guy's like, "You did save my mother one time, I guess." And so basically, after getting Humpty out of jail, he's like, "Hey man, you really need to stop doing this. Like, you're gonna get yourself in trouble or some shit." And Humpty's like, "Nah. Me and you, we gotta rob this bank and get the fuck out of here. Like, all we gotta do is just rob this bank." And so Puss is like, "Nah, I'm not gonna do that shit. You're stupid. The people here like me. I'm not gonna like turn my back on these people. You can go fuck yourself." So Humpty gets all sad and walks away and all that shit, and Puss is sad about it too, and then walks away and all that shit. But you see, Humpty he can't take no for an answer. So he wakes Puss up randomly in the middle of the night, and he says that he's about to get his ass beat by Little Boy Blue and his gang because he owes them money. And, so your Puss gets the fuck up, and he's like, "Holy shit, I gotta help my brother out." And he's like, he gets the fucking carrier, so, like, it's basically their car, like, he's sitting on the horse or whatever. And, wagon, that's what it is. Sorry, I forgot the name of it. But he's, like, chilling in the fucking wagon, and fucking, he sees a bunch of money get thrown over the wall, and then he looks at the sign, and he's like, "Holy shit, we're at the bank." And he starts fucking driving off, but Humpty already jumps in, and it's a whole story. They get chased by the police. The police happen to see it's Puss, so they know it's him robbing the bank. And they're like, "You betrayed us. How fucking dare you?" So he's pretty much fucked in this entire situation, all because of Humpty. Like, this is all Humpty's fault, obviously. Like, Humpty just couldn't handle trying to be a good guy, so he was like, "Fuck it, I'm gonna take him down with me." And this is where the Humpty's like little fairy tale story happens, and it's the Humpty Dumpty fell on a wall, Humpty Dumpty had a great fall, something he couldn't get up at all, or some shit like that. Basically, he's on his back, police are grabbing his ass, he can't do anything. Puss says, "Save yourself," and the wagon flips over. By the way, like, they lose all the money. Like, nobody gets any money out of this. Like, they just basically just deaded the town. The town is just in debt. And I'm starting to see that we're almost near the 20-minute mark, and I'm just barely getting over the backstory of these two. So I'm going to go ahead and just speed this up. And basically, they got a lot of backstory to go over. Puss was fucking set up and framed, and now it's like, "Hey, you don't got to be friends with me," Humpty says. Humpty's like, "You don't got to be friends with me. Just help me with this one last job. We'll pay back the fucking town. We'll clear your name, and I'll leave you alone forever. You don't gotta forgive me. We don't gotta pretend we're brothers or anything like that." So they make this big old plan to go get these magical beans from Jack and Jill and go ahead and run to the fucking tower. So, the next scene is, of course, they gotta get the beans. So Jack and Jill, the way they have their wagon set up is so fucking weird. It's like a legit just car like wagon thing. They have hogs in the front, like 6 different hogs, like pulling their fucking wagon, and they got like the babies in the back, and they only have it to where like their heads stick up out of these 2 holes, and it's just this big moving box that's being dragged by fucking hogs. So they're like crazy fucking looking. And fucking, they're on a normal wagon, Puss, Kitty Softpaws, and all of them. So when they pull up, it's like a what is it? Like, I would describe it like the Rango scene, like, Rango. It's like that, but like just a lot less, like just a lot less everything. Like, Rango is the fucking top tier film. I'm gonna talk about that one here soon, just because I want to. Everybody's already talked about Rango. I didn't know too many people that's talked about Puss in Boots, so I thought I'd talk about it. And to make a very stressful scene fast, they managed to barely get away with the beans and are on track to make Like, they gotta plant them in the specific spot, so they're like on track to fucking plant them there, and they barely get away. Like, they barely get away, and it's just because Humpty made some bullshit like random flying machine. Like, in this like film, like, Humpty has this thing for making machines for no reason. Like, instead of just watering beans normally as a kid, he had this long fucking, I can't remember. It was like, I can't remember what the name of it, but it's just where that, like, it's one contraption pops a balloon, and the air from the balloon pop pushes a marble, and the marble drops and sets off a button or some shit. And he just had one of those long, like, fucking contraptions to water his plants. So he was kind of a little weird guy. And basically, they get away, and they have the beans. You see them in the desert. They're like really close to the spot, and you find out Kitty Softpaw's sad backstory about why she has soft paws. It's because she's been declawed. Like, her owners declawed her. And I mean, it was kind of sad, I guess, but it's whatever. Like, I mean, it's character development. I don't really like Kitty Softpaws. She's an annoying character. Puss is where it's fucking at. Puss a G, bro. Puss a G. He's just trying to get a girl, and this girl just wants to be annoying. So, you know, that's his standards, not mine, just his standards. And I'm not too sure which movie came out, but the little Kitty Softpaws being declawed and the way she talks about it, it really reminds me of that Bolt movie where, like, the black cat, like, you know, it also just happens to be a black cat that's, like, not sneaky, but, like a conniving character. And basically, like, it gave me a random flashback to that for no reason. I'm not too sure which film came out first, if there was, like, a little scene stealing going on, you know what I mean? But, you know, let's go ahead and just keep going on. Our little story, like they're at the spot, and Mr. Humpty starts rolling around in the sand. He's like, here's the exact spot. You gotta set down the beans. Be careful. Beans are, like, you know, delicate. Magic's delicate. So they put the beans down, and, like, this big old storm cloud comes in, and a big old scene happens, and a tiny little bean sprouts up. And they think they did it wrong. And after a little, like, plants, like, have feelings joke after you talk to them, like, you know, they fucking explode. Like, the beanstalk shoots up into the sky, goes above the clouds. It, like, shoots through space a little bit, and, like, goes into this just white. Like, it's just white. And they're in this different cloud dimension. Like, they went above the clouds, above space, to get to more clouds. That's just how the beanstalk works. It teleports you through the astral gate, and you go into the heavenly afterlife. And you just go into this fucking cloud place. There's, like, cloud waterfalls and shit like that. It's, like, ridiculous. Cloud trees. Like, everything's just made of clouds. And they realize that there's, like, low air, so they're able to just jump around and have fun and, like, you know, play with the clouds. They build, like, snowmen and shit like that. And, of course, you get more weird, like, sexual scenes between two cats for some reason. And you also see a little bit of, like, Humpty being weird. He's, like, a little weird with Kitty. He's, like, giving her the glare, like, why are you getting so close to Puss? You know what I mean? Like, at first you might think it's jealousy, but Mr. Me already knows, because Mr. Me's already watched the movie. And for some weird reason, they want to make it, like, really annoying. They're just like, yeah, their voices need to be high-pitched here. Like, it serves nothing. In 5 minutes, they take it away. Like, there's just no reason for the voices to be so high-pitched out of nowhere. They just want it to be. So it's like, okay, whatever, you know, I guess. And, like, maybe that's how science works in this fairy tale world of no science. And so they see the big castle. Also, you get to see one more bad joke before we go in. Fucking Humpty, for some reason, puts on a golden, like, filthy Frank onesie. And he makes squeaky noises every time he walks. Like, you know, the fucking SpongeBob squeaky boots. It's just that episode, but for the next, like, 15 minutes, because that's how long this entire scene plays out. He just wears the suit, and it's funny because he squeaks. So he starts fucking running up to the castle's tower, or the giant's tower, and they do, like, play the fact that the giant's already dead. They play the fact that it's after Jack already went there and killed the giant. So the giant's been dead for a while and took a long dirt nap, as they say. And the only thing they gotta worry about is the big protector of the golden goose, which is like a baby. So once I saw it was a baby, and you see the big like shadow chasing them, you obviously know that it's gonna be a fucking like mom. It's just the goose's mom. That's the big protector. They 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 decide that they're just gonna steal the golden goose. Like, to make a long stressful story short, they steal the golden goose and they're at the campsite partying with the eggs. And Puss is trying to get real close to Kitty Softpaws again. He's like, "Hey, we're real good buddies. Let's get close again." And she's trying to stay away because she knows she's about she knows what's going on. So she stays away. She goes ahead and goes to sleep early. And Humpty and Puss are talking. Puss wakes up a little bit out of nowhere, sees Humpty's gone, and he just gets bonked because Jack and Jill have been following them once they cut down the bean tower. Like, they had to cut down the beanstalk after they left that place. Sorry, I kind of left that out on you guys. But Jack and Jill, they followed them basically from that. Bonked Puss on the head. And when Puss wakes up, the crows are about to eat him alive. He's like, "Get the fuck away from me, you crazy bastards!" And he decides to go back to the town. When he goes back to the town, he's going there to save Humpty and Kitty Softpaws. And what he does see is, when he gets there, Humpty and the entire town, so all the criminals in the bar that we started this video off talking about, all of fucking Jack and Jill, all everything that they've ever talked to, all the people they talked to, it was all set up. Humpty just had it all set up. He was like, "Hey, Humpty, this is my plan," and Humpty did it all. So basically, Humpty's just become a crime lord, mob boss of the town while he was in prison, and he's got every single criminal on his side and managed to yank one over Puss's head. And since he's got Golden Goose, obviously he paid his way out of debts and just gave golden fucking eggs to everybody around. Even his mom shows up, bro. Puss's mom shows up to tell him, "Don't fight the guards, just let them take you, just go to jail." So Puss obviously isn't going to disobey his mom because he's a real straight G. And he goes to jail. He stands himself. He just goes to jail. And this guy legit, he gets caught with one bag of fucking catnip, bro. He was running around with catnip on him, and he got arrested, bro. Like, poor guy. He's sitting in jail, and while he's proceeding to give himself a bath, he looks to the right, and he sees, holy shit, it's a crazy old man. And the crazy old man proceeds to say, "I'm not just one crazy old man. I'm a crazy old man that used to own magic beans, and I talked to your little egg friend. And if he takes that golden goose like he's planning on it, that big old golden goose's mom is going to come here and flatten this town to a fucking, like, dust." So basically, Humpty knows this is going to happen because he's a goddamn asshole, and he's just set up everything to be destroyed. He cleared his name, gave everybody money, and he's like, "Yeah, I'm going to let this golden goose just destroy everything." Or not the golden goose's mom. So whenever she gets there, she decides that obviously she's going to start destroying everything. She starts looking for her egg, and Humpty is chilling on the top of a church when, out of nowhere, Puss is saved from Kitty Softpaws in prison, and he breaks out and goes to see Humpty. And once he sees Humpty, he convinces him that there's still a good person somewhere deep inside of that fucking spoiled egg, and that he might just be good enough to help the town one more time. And for some random reason, after all of this time that there could have been set up for character development for Humpty to be good at all of that the reason that this scene doesn't pay off as well as it could have is because when Humpty decides out of nowhere that he's just going to help Puss again, he's like, "Yeah, I'll save the town. Let's save the town." It comes out of nowhere because he was in jail for the last 10 years, just plotting against Puss, getting his revenge, knowing that it's going to destroy the town, doing everything he had to. Puss said some really nice things. Like, they became friends again on this trip, except the fact that Humpty just does all of this in the last 5 minutes, where he just throws Puss in jail, completely ignores everything that's happened, that they've had any kind of relationship build up or anything like that, just throws Puss in jail. I mean, it doesn't set up the fact that Humpty's felt remorseful at all for any of his actions until the very last second when it's like, oh, I might die because Puss might just keep me here to die. Like, that's all it is. Like, it's like, oh shit, I might die, so I guess I'll be good now. And basically, he's got to do this self-sacrifice thing where it's like, if you don't catch the goose and save the goose, it'll destroy the town. I'll have to kill myself. And sure, it's kind of sad when you watch it and whatever, and spoiler alert, obviously, but he lets go. He kills himself, and you see him Puss reunite the golden goose with the fucking goose's mom, and the mom's happy and is like, let's leave, except he sees another golden egg, except they didn't lay that golden egg. That was the golden egg that was inside of Humpty all along. So it was kind of confusing, I guess, because even though he was a complete asshole and dick the entire time, he only had one dream and then threw that dream away for revenge. He's still somehow a good person inside. I don't know. But yeah, this is already going on 30 minutes. So I guess I'll just end off my thoughts on this film, because that's how it ends. Like, they save the town, Puss gets his name cleared, they have plenty of golden eggs to, like, pay back all the debts. Like, everything's fine. Puss is still a wanted man, though. He is still wanted, so he can't just chill in town, but all the people in the town are happy with Puss. So, he proceeds to go ahead and live a wonderful life after that. He goes and says bye-bye to his mother, and his mother's okay with him and says that the boots are still perfectly okay for him and that he shouldn't feel bad wearing them. And he goes off, lives his life. Kitty Softpaws does some weird thing, and I guess they chase Kitty Softpaws for a little bit, and they have some weird, like, running around the roofs, like, spears being launched in the middle of a town kind of fucking chase. But it's whatever. And so I'll end off my thoughts on this film. This film was a pretty good one. I liked it. It was very fun to sit down and enjoy watching. There's obviously a lot of weird things you can poke open and a lot of plot holes in here and there. But if you're just sitting down for a film to turn off and just enjoy, turn off your brain and just enjoy it, like, this is the film for you, bro. Like, Puss in Boots, top tier, would enjoy again. And I probably will enjoy again. But not before I watch the movie Rango.